In this video, we're unboxing the most expensive comic book to ever come through my shop, and there's a lot to unpack here. Stay tuned.
Bry's Comics.
I'm incredibly excited to announce the next Bryce Comics exclusive, my most exciting exclusive to date, my first ever Marvel exclusive on one of my favorite characters, Miles Morales, by industry legend In-Hyuk Lee. Miles Morales, Spider-Man #1. Boom! I am absolutely beside myself with excitement that I got a cover by In-Hyuk Lee. He's one of my favorites. I've got him up there on the wall in my PC. Just an absolutely stunning modern comic artist. Thank you so much to In-Hyuk Lee for jamming with me on this project. And thank you so much to all of you for supporting me all of this time and getting me here to where I am today, where I'm able to take this big step and get my first ever Marvel exclusive. It's a much bigger investment. It's a big deal, and it's all thanks to you guys. I could not have done this without you. Pre-sales are live now at brycecomics.com. We've got trade and virgin sets. We've got CGC options. We've got incentive bundle sets. We've got regular cover sets. It's all over at brycecomics.com. I cannot wait to see what this new creative team does for Miles Morales in this new series. And thank you once again for all the support. Pre-sales are live now at brycecomics.com. So let me paint a real quick recap of how we got to where we are today, unboxing this Fantastic Four #1. 4 Mega Grail comics recently came through my shop. Fantastic Four #1, the first appearance of the Fantastic Four. Tales of Suspense #39, the first appearance of Iron Man. Tales to Astonish #27, the first appearance of Ant-Man. And Fantastic Four #5, the first appearance of Doctor Doom. 4 absolute mega keys from Marvel Comics that were very well preserved, tucked away in an abandoned house underneath a pile of magazines, essentially. If you haven't seen the video, I'll put a link down in the description that shows the whole backstory of these books. It's truly incredible. And I sent them off to be pressed and cleaned by Hero Restoration and then graded by CGC through the walkthrough submission tier, which is supposed to be their fastest tier. And they were split up in the process. The Fantastic Four #1 had to go in separately because it was such high value that it needed its own set of insurance and its own submission, and the other 3 books should be back later this week by the time you're watching this. This is the Fantastic Four #1 unboxing, and let me play a little clip from that past video to show what I thought the possible grade for this book could be. It looks to be like a solid 8.0, 8.5, 9.0. And the reason that I'm on the fence about that is because there's some fingerprints on the back of the book, and they do look fresh, and it's possible that, while they were handled, coming out of how they were stored for all these years, they may have picked up some fingerprints. So that could be good or bad as far as fingerprints go, because if they're fresh and depending on what type of foreign substance was on the fingers, it could potentially be removed. But anybody who has experience with pressing and cleaning books will tell you that fingerprints are a hard maybe. So there you have it, guys. The big question mark was the fingerprints, and that was the big determining factor of where this would grade, whether it was an 8.0 or higher. And here we have the results. Without further ado, bink. 8.0. Fantastic Four #1 and 8.0. This is a truly strange. Now I'm going to put this away. I'm going to put it back in the bag, and I'm going to set it down here on the table because I don't want to have it up on a stand or even in my hands. I'm just going to set that there and not touch it so I don't damage it. It's kind of nerve-wracking to hold such a valuable book. It's incredibly exciting to get a Fantastic Four #1 and 8.0 off-white to white pages, but at the same time, it's also incredibly disappointing, as weird as that sounds, because there is such a huge price difference between an 8.0, 8.5, and a 9.0. It about doubles when going from an 8.0 to an 8.5 because it's so incredibly rare anywhere above that. However, if we look at the census here for Fantastic Four #1, this 8.0 is still in the top 59 examples that are graded in the world. There's only 38 that are graded higher. There's 2,090 96 unrestored copies in the world on the census. So just it's still an incredibly rare, one of the best in the world. And so unfortunately, as you saw in that little clip, we knew that there was fingerprints on the back of the book, and we knew that was the biggest determining factor in how high this would grade. Unfortunately, Hero Restoration was not able to get those fingerprints off. It's a big maybe when it comes to fingerprints, but I want to show a little bit of a closer look of these fingerprints, and I'll let you guys decide what you think. As you can see right here, there's still a fingerprint there, and one up here, and as you can see, this spot's like right here, here, and here. And I don't know, I'll leave it up to you guys. Some of you guys have even more experience than me with pressing and cleaning, getting stuff done. What do you think? Like, what do you think of these results as far as this book has been pressed and cleaned? So I will just kind of leave it at that. That I'm not impressed with my experience overall. Has not been great, and I'll leave it at that. And we'll see what the other books come back, how they come back, and what they look like, and take it from there. So now I have the incredibly difficult task of pricing this book, and it's difficult because there haven't been any recent sales for an 8.0. So let's hop into the computer and take a look at some data to see how I came up with the price that I did. So here we are on GP Analysis looking at Fantastic Four #1, and we're trying to figure out what would be a fair price for the 8.0. The most recent sale was $60,000, but that was back in 2019. Some other recent sales is the 7.5 sold this year in September for $88,000, and an 8.5 sold in August of this year for $228,000. So it's somewhere between $88,000 and $228,000. Smack dab in the middle of that is somewhere around $150,000. However, the market has come down since August and September, almost across the board, including Grails have seen a drop in price of about 10 to 20% from their sales in August and September, roughly. So I thought that $125,000 would be a fair price for this book. It's not right in the middle because we're in a down market. And also, it doesn't quite go right in the middle between a 7.5 and an 8.5. These price increases are exponential. As you can see, as you get higher and higher in grade, the price gets exponentially higher. So I don't necessarily think that an 8.0 should be right in between the price of a 7.5 and an 8.5. So I think 125 is a really fair price for this book. And if we look at a comparable book to get an idea of if that's in the right ballpark, here's Incredible Hulk #4. It's not a perfect comp, but it does have a lot of similarities to Fantastic Four #1. It's a Silver Age key. It's a 12-cent key from around the same time. It's a hot character. I think that Incredible Hulk and Fantastic Four are about the same as far as how hot they are right now in the market. They're both waiting on their first solo films to be done right in the MCU. And an 8.0 is also a very high grade and rare grade for this book. And here we can see an 8.0 sold just the other day for $4,500, which was a 123% increase from the 2019 sale. And if we look at the 2019 sale of Fantastic Four #1, 120% is about $125,000, somewhere right around there. So I think $125,000 is a fair price for this book. I think it's a win for the buyer and the seller. And so if this book came to market, if it came to auction today, if an 8.0 Fantastic Four #1 came to auction, nobody knows what it would do. I don't care who you are. You cannot tell me what price it would fetch. It is such a wild card. It could do 100,000. It could do 150,000. And nobody really knows what it would do. So one thing is for sure, there is an incredible amount of uncertainty in the market today. So I thought the wise thing to do would be to come up with a reasonable price, be able to justify that price based on, comps and recent sales data, and to stick with that rather than send it to market and take the big risk of what it could do. You never know. It could be a huge upset and sell for $88,000 for the 8.0. Easily. That absolutely could happen in today's market. So I think we made the right move by setting a price and sticking to it. So when I posted the initial video, several people reached out to me and said, I'm interested in the Fantastic Four #1. Let me know when it comes back, what grade it is. So I contacted those 3 people. And I said it came back in 8.0. We're asking $125,000. And I got several offers right away from those people that were interested. A cash offer for $115,000, a trade offer that came out to about, $110,000 in trade. And then a full offer for $125,000, which is is actually about $100,000 cash and about $30,000 worth of trade books, which comes out to about $125,000 because essentially I have to buy the trade books from the individual to pay the consigners the full $125,000 amount, because remember, I'm only getting a small percentage, a small commission of the actual sale price. So anything that's in trade, I have to fork out the money to buy those trade books and then sell those trade books. So there's a little bit of, a markup on the trade value so that I can sell them and, make it worth my while to have the trade. So $100,000 in cash, $30,000 in books. Included in those books is an Amazing Spider-Man #1 in a 7.0. I'm incredibly excited for that one because I've never actually owned or had an Amazing Spider-Man #1 come through the shop, and to have the first one ever be a 7.0, which is a really high grade for Amazing Spider-Man #1. I value that book somewhere around $25,000 to $27,000. And then there's also a Amazing Spider-Man #129 in a 9.2 and a Werewolf by Night #32 in a 9.0. So about $30,000 in trade books. If you're interested in either of those, make sure you sign up for the newsletter over at brycecomics.com. It will enter you to win a free slab, and it's also where I send out, notifications when new inventory comes in. There's also those other grails that are going to be coming back this week: Fantastic Four #5, Tales to Astonish #27, and Tales of Suspense #39. So make sure you're signed up for that newsletter over there, and follow me over on Instagram and hit that notification bell on the Instagram page. So that's also where I'll post, grails for sale or trade over there. If you rely on the YouTube video to get notification of when those books come in, it's a little bit behind, the website and Instagram. So it might behoove you, if you're interested in bigger books, to sign up at those two places. All in all, at the end of the day, the consigners found these incredibly rare books. They got a record-breaking high sale for a Fantastic Four #1 and an 8.0. The buyer got a great deal because it's a great timing with the down market. I think it's a win-win-win all the way around for this deal. Thank you so much to all of you for all of your interest and support in this project. Don't forget that Miles Morales Spider-Man #1 by Inhyuk Lee, the Bryce Comics exclusive, is live now at brycecomics.com. I also have a new collection that I just picked up, a $30,000 collection full of awesome pre-code horror, other silver and golden age keys, along with a bunch of modern stuff and about 400 raw books that will be coming up for sale over on Whatnot. So make sure to follow me over on Whatnot. Link in the description for $15 towards your first purchase over there. Thank you, as always, for sticking with me to the end of the video, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
Bryce Comics.